Got one for Dawn.
Oh, yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order for the Brawley City Council and successor agency to the Brawley Community Redevelopment Agency. Regular meeting for Tuesday, December 4th at 6 p.m.
Today is December 3rd.
December 3rd, excuse me. This is the wrong. There it is. Yeah. Excuse me, December 3rd at 6 p.m. Brawley City Council and successor agency to the Brawley Community Redevelopment Agency adjourned regular meeting Monday, December 3rd at 6 p.m. Excuse me. We can have roll call, please.
Councilmember Campbell. Councilmember Couchman.
Here.
Councilmember Miranda.
Present.
Councilmember Nava.
Here. Our invocation by Mayor George Nava. Please stand. Lord, if you could please bless this council and our citizens for making the right decisions today. Amen.
Amen.
Our Pledge of Allegiance, please. Councilmember Miranda, would you lead us, please?
Sure. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Oh, second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is public appearances and comments, not to exceed 4 minutes. This is the time for the public to address the council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name for the record. You are not allowed to make personal attacks on individuals or make comments which are slanderous or which may invade an individual's personal privacy. Please direct your questions and comments to the City Council. Is there anyone here who would like to make a comment on any item not appearing on the agenda? Seeing none. Well, it's nice to have everyone out here. We had an unfortunate change of circumstance, so we're going to have to delay the meeting just a little bit. Councilmember Campbell had a work event that he could not remove himself from, so we are going to have a recess of a period of about an hour and 45 minutes. So we're not adjourning the meeting. We're going to have a recess in order to accommodate Councilmember Campbell. The reason we wanted to do that is so we can make a decision tonight. We don't want to delay it until tomorrow. So we are going to have a recess. Please be here promptly at 7:45. And be ready to present before council. I apologize for the inconvenience, but it is something that Councilmember Campbell could not remove himself from. And obviously, the decision tonight's an important one. We don't want to exclude any council member from that decision. So please join us at 7:45, and we will continue the meeting at that time. We are just in recess at this point. All right. Again, I appreciate your patience and thank you again for participating in this meeting and for participating in the process. I know on behalf of council, I would like to thank all of the candidates that have applied for the position of filling former Councilmember Kelly's seat. And we decided to make it an appointed position. And it's a great responsibility for anybody who's going to serve. But obviously, there's only one person here that's going to fill that spot. And there are several candidates. I know I speak for myself, but I think I could speak for all the council members here. We know many of you personally and professionally, and it's obviously a difficult decision that we'll have to make tonight, but we're going to make it tonight. And so although there was a delay, I wanted to make sure we stuck with that game plan of making that decision tonight. And I look forward to hearing from all of you and going in there with an open mind, and hopefully the decision we make tonight will be one that will be embraced by all. So I'm going to pass it along to the council members if they have any opening comments, and then we'll go over the ground rules and we'll go from there. Any council members like to add any comments?
Again, I want to thank everybody for being patient, and I got kind of stuck at work, but I want to say good luck to all the applicants that applied for the job, and we really look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
I do think it's really great that we have so many candidates. I think that's important. The electoral process, but it's also important to the city of Brawley that we have an interest out there on the part of the citizens to serve on the council. I think that's very, very important, and we have to keep our eye on that. I do want to thank everybody for applying, and everybody that's here in the audience, and I think we'll move forward with this tonight.
When you live in a small community like Brawley, and you have one seat, whether it's school, council, whatever, and you have all candidates seeking that position, it makes it very difficult. Looking at the applicants, all of you are great candidates. And, you know, we're going to make the best decision for the city of Brawley. So I wish you the best of luck to all you candidates.
Great. Well, just to go over the ground rules, we're going to go in, I believe it's alphabetical order, is that correct? And it's 5 minutes for consideration with council. And please speak directly to the council. That's who you're addressing. It is being filmed, and it will be televised. It's going to be live. I'm sorry, it won't be live, but it will be broadcast over the internet as well. And so when you come to the microphone, please address council. It's in the east end of the room here. So if you can come to the microphone when you're called, you have 5 minutes. Our timekeeper is our city manager, Rosanna Bayon-Moore. You can see the clock to your right. It's on the screen there. It's not meant to distract anybody. It's just there for timekeeping. And that's the reason we shut the one off behind us. So beginning with any other direction that you guys wanted to add? It's just a public statement, the reason why you're seeking the position, and anything else that you'd like to add before us. And, you know, please keep it to the 5 minutes. Then we'll, if council has any questions following your comments, we'll ask them. If not, we move forward. And at the end of that period, we'll open it up to public comments. If you have a public comment that you'd like to make in support of any particular applicant, or even against any particular applicant, you have the opportunity to do so. So I would like to invite our first applicant, and this is in alphabetical order, Mr. Arne Eaton. You can please come up. And there you go. And if you could please state your name for the record, we appreciate
My name
that.
is Arne Eaton. I live at 260 West State Street here in Brawley, of course.
Okay. And your time is starting now, Mr. Eaton.
Okay. Gentlemen, Honorable Mayor, Madam City Manager, Council Merida, Madam City Clerk. I had my notes, and I forgot them at home because we got a recess. I have a tendency to forget things. I saw Councilman Couchman the other day, and I called him George.
Okay.
But you look alike.
Yeah, I guess, right? I guess.
This council made some hard decisions these last few years, very hard. I was delighted when I talked to City Manager Moore, how her open door policy and how easy and how accessible she is. Chief Gilmore may remember 20-some years ago, he and I were on a committee that was then set up by City Manager Roger Bennett to get input of just regular employees and how he thought, or how we thought the city could save money. And we all got together and got our heads together. I gave some input as just coming from the fire department, working for the building department. I thought, well, there was a lot of waste there. And I gave my input, and subsequently, several months later, 4 positions were eliminated, and there were 4 people that retired from the fire department. Those positions are still haven't been filled, and the city hasn't burned down. I think if we look a lot of departments real hard like that, we can still save some more money. That being said, I think you guys have a good team, and I'd like to be part of that team. I, like a lot of young people, graduated from high school, moved to San Diego. Wasn't just a few months, I was missing my friends in Brawley. And so I moved back, and I've lived in Tucson and Nogales and LA twice and San Diego, and this is still the best place to live. I'd like to give my maybe behind the scenes, but working for the city for 3/4 of my adult life, I might have some good input to council's decisions and making future decisions. And I thank you.
Mr. Eaton, thank you very much. Any questions from council for Mr. Eaton?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Eaton.
We'll move forward with Mr. Jay Goyle. Mr. Goyle, if you could please come up. State your name for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Jay Goyal, live at 890 Fleming Avenue. I'm a proud resident of City of Brawley for more than 19 years, and my family is here for more than 23 years. I have Masters of Engineering from University of Florida, and I'm a registered civil engineer and land surveyor. I'm also a licensed real estate broker, and over the last 19 years, I have started several businesses and employed more than 150 employees. I do understand the importance of creating the jobs and bringing the extra revenue. In this economy, when the market is not doing great, most of the cities in the financial crisis, they generally look for the cuts, cutting the security, cutting the safety, cutting the public services. But I also strongly believe that when the milk is a spill, rather than worried about the spill milk, we need to look for the new cow. We need to look for the new revenue, how to bring to the city. We need to make the city more attractive for not only the local entrepreneur who can start their businesses, but also for outsiders of the valley. So they feel welcoming to the city to start the new businesses. As a small business owner, I understand the frustrations we feel when we are dealing with the city, generally the public agencies. Because a lot of times the public agencies have their own restrictions, but at the same time there's a lot of room they can play around to increase or motivate the people to start the businesses. When I have worked for 11 years for Caltrans, and where I built highways and roadway projects. I have managed engineers and also constructed more than $100 million worth of projects. I have the extensive knowledge of the roadway, and with my knowledge, I'll be able to help the city staff, which is doing a great job, in doing more of the value engineering. A lot of times we get caught up in the book engineering and we don't do the common sense engineering, which I strongly believe in thinking outside the box and you apply the practical knowledge and using the available resources towards making the best out of the options there. While working for Caltrans, I was also part of the employee union. So I understand the hard time they are going through, the load work they have right now with the cut of the staff. The load work has not been reduced. We always talk about this salary being cut. So sometimes it's not easy to explain to them as a council member our position or your position. As a council member, I will be able to open a better platform to communicate with the city staff and bring the harmony so we can improve the results and also serve our city better. The biggest thing which we need to do is think outside the box options. We cannot expect the better results if we keep doing the same thing. If we want to change the results, then in our life we need to first change our mindset, and which will improve the results. So I have several ideas by which we will be able to attract and have the year-round activities. Our Chamber of Commerce and business people need the help from the city to get motivated to start the business again. Also for the downtown. Right now means downtown does not have enough businesses because over the years things did not work out perfect for downtown. But I will be able to help city staff and bring in the creative ideas to have the more business coming to downtown. I always believe in making the life easier for the citizens, as a planning commission or one of the planning commissioners in last 2.5 years, I was able to go couple of changes or request couple of changes to make the process easier for the people who are applying for the permits. I talked to the planning director, what people are asking for, our citizens are asking, what kind of changes they're asking. So as a council member, I'll be able to apply my engineering and business knowledge to increase the tax revenue and make the city welcoming to the other businesses. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goyle. Are there any questions for Mr. Goyle from council? Mr. Goyle, one question. Are you, I know you serve currently on the Planning Commission. If you were selected for the position of council member, would you, you would need to forego the position as a planning commissioner?
I completely understand that.
Okay, very well. Thank you again, Mr. Goyle. Moving on to the next applicant, and that's Norma Kastner-Howdige.
Good evening. Norma Kastner-Howdige. I reside at 1106 Calle del Sol in Brawley. And just want to share with you that my roots are in Brawley. I was born and raised in Brawley. My husband Julio and I raised our 4 children here. 2 adult children live here, and my grandchildren attend schools in Brawley. I had many an opportunity to leave the valley, or left for a bit and came back, and could have moved to another city in Imperial Valley. I worked in El Centro and commuted for all the years that I worked in El Centro, and I still chose to live in Brawley. I think Brawley is a good place to raise your children. I've been very impressed with the city of Brawley in many respects. I'm very complimentary of what the council has done to date, and also of the Parks and Recreation Department, and the new businesses that have come to fruition recently. I think that I would like to see Brawley be the city of choice and opportunity in Imperial County. I would like for Brawley to be known as the city of choice. By serving on the city council, I would bring my experience and knowledge. I have, I'm going to share with you briefly some of my experience just so that you can kind of get an idea of where I come from. I did work for the State of California Employment Development Department for 35 years, and over 20 years of that was in management. The last 13 years I managed the Imperial County operation, which was several offices in El Centro, Calexico, and branch offices, including contracts with the county and other state agencies. I developed contracts with those agencies, and most of them were in the millions of dollars, so I have a lot of experience with budget and like I said, developing contracts and working with partners. I also served on the Workforce Investment Board for a period of 12 years, and had oversight responsibility of the WIA, or Workforce Investment Act, funds that come from federal grants, and made sure that those monies were utilized appropriately for job development and training, and worked very closely with economic development agencies, with county agencies, and served on numerous committees where we were very successful in bringing, enticing other industries to come in. I participated in many tours where people would come from other areas to see the valley, and particularly toured the Brawley area. I have to say that I was a little disappointed, or somewhat disappointed, when we did the touring, because there's a lot of room for improvement when you're driving around and you're bringing people from other states and other cities, because they're used to seeing the beautiful scenery, the greenery, and unfortunately a lot of that is not out there. And there's weeds, there's a lot of areas with blight, we're just, so I always felt like I had to make excuses for that. So I think that's one area that we really need to focus on as a city council, in improving how our whole valley needs that. But I think when speaking about Brawley, we need to make the whole area coming from the north, south, east, or west, whatever area you're coming from, that people find it a beautiful place to visit and a beautiful place to live. a place of destination. Let's see. Since my retirement, I've been retired for almost 2 years now. I just wanted to share with you some of the other things I've been involved in. I did volunteer for the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program to help the community with that program. I did it for 2 seasons, and I've also been working as a consultant with the Institute of Social Economic Justice, helping disadvantaged people here in Imperial County and specifically Brawley. I think that was, even though I worked for EDD for so many years and I saw the needs in the community, I think this has been an eye-opener for me of the needs of the community in Brawley. There's just so much that can be done to help that population in Brawley. One of the things that I hear from a lot of people that I talk to is that there's a need to really improve the downtown. And I think we need to work with our partners and improving. And I just want to say that I would like to be part of the City of Brawley's continuing success and make it a city of destination and opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Howdy.
Howdy, are there any questions for Ms. Howdy from the council? Seeing none. Thank you very much. Mr. Joe Lucio.
I didn't forget my notes, Arnie. Good evening, and thank you to the City of Brawley, the Brawley City Council, and the citizens of Brawley. My name is Joe Lucio. I live in Brawley most of my life. I'm 64 years old, was born in Brawley, and lived here, like I said, most of my life. I am a proud Vietnam-era veteran, served in the U.S. Army from 1970 to 72, and was discharged honorably. My tour of duty was at Fort Hood, Texas. I retired in April as a Veterans Representative for the State of California, EDD, Employment Development Department, as a Veterans Rep for the state. I worked over 32 years then serving the public at EDD. I started April of 1972 after I got out of the Army. So 4 decades is a long time, and 32 years is a long time also. I've served in programs, governmental programs, state governments since April of 72. Some of these programs are job services or workforce development. The unemployment program, where we found clients, applicants eligible or not eligible for unemployment, doing adjudications briefly for me, and but mostly on jobs, developing jobs, contacting employers for jobs. I also visited the farm. I was an agribusiness representative for the farm, visiting contractors, agribusiness, the farms themselves, feedlots, and I found out about the importance of agriculture. When I was there, it was a $1 billion industry, not profit, but now it's over $2 billion. So I think my experience in working with agriculture will bring something to this council. 1 out of every 3 people employed in this county or roughly are related to agriculture. I also marketed businesses in the business sector, employers to explain the services EDD provided, we coordinated seminars for them. I made public presentations, and I got a first-hand look on the needs of the business community. We worked along with my management teams and administration on serving the needs, what was the need of the community in case employers, businesses, and how could we address those and help them resolve some of the issues. If chosen, I will work with the council. First of all, I think first and foremost would be to be a team council member, working with this team. And I commend you for some of the things that you're doing for Brawley. I will work as a team council member to help serve this community I graduated in June of 1970 from IVC and having AS in architectural engineering and a minor in the social sciences, a lot of sociology and psychology classes. In 2009, almost 40 years later, I received my Bachelor of Arts from SDSU with a degree in the social sciences / liberal arts disciplines. My education will help me, if chosen on the job, as a council member. I am analytical, productive, an objective listener, a writer, a marketer, a vocational job counselor, and very receptive to helping people, businesses, proactive to the educational programs from K through PhD programs, especially here in Brawley. I am ready to serve on the council and serve the citizens of Brawley and their needs. I am honest, productive, ethical, and feel my skills, abilities, and education and desire to serve qualified me for this position. To conclude, I have a lot of heart. I'm an old Brawley Wildcat, so I'm still gung-ho about our schools and our teams. I am a married man to Susan Duarte Lucio, father of 5 children who all attended Brawley schools and graduated from Brawley, 7 grandchildren, an avid fan of all Wildcat teams and supportive of our school districts. Thank you, and go Brawley.
Mr. Lucio, thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe.
Are there any questions for Mr. Lucio? Mr. Lucio, thank you very much.
It's a true Wildcat.
And thank you, everyone, for keeping to your 5 minutes. That's appreciated very much. Next is Lisa McMillan.
My name is Lisa McMillan, and I've lived in Brawley most of my life. Of the various duties of the city councilman, representing residents is the one I am addressing this evening. Brawley could enhance its business-friendly environment to create more jobs, and I would like to use my master's in public administration to help. I also have a bachelor's in psychology. I'm currently a real estate broker and a substitute teacher. Briefly, the ideal qualities are residential population growth, low tax rate, low crime rate, high marks in education, low cost of living, strong job growth, and high medium household income. Brawley rates highly in residential growth, low tax rate, and low crime rate, except for theft. We're strong in education. Our cost of living is reasonable, but we're lacking in strong job growth, and there is a low medium household income and high unemployment. A significant determinant for business investment is a combination of flexible labor policies, openness to the rest of the world, and the ease of starting and maintaining an enterprise. Key variables in alphabetical order: air pollution, and Brawley has had a low score since the earthquake. Aircraft movements, Brawley has adequate access. Attracting capital investment, Brawley needs improvement. Attracting greenfield projects, which are new job-creating projects that are funded by foreign direct investment, Brawley needs improvement. Classroom size, Brawley is average. Consumer price index, Brawley's is reasonable, but the annual median family income is in the low 30,000s. Cost of business occupancy, Brawley needs improvement. Cost of internet, public transportation, and rent, Brawley is fair. Crime, Brawley has more thefts than violent or street crime. Cultural vibrancy, Brawley needs improvement. Ease of starting a business, we're reasonable. Hospitals, we rank highly. Hotel rooms, Brawley is adequate. Housing, we have seen improvement, and current interest rates are low, and new housing construction is increasing. Internet access in school, high marks for Brawley. Libraries with public access, we're fine. Licensed taxis, more than adequate. Literacy and enrollment, Brawley is above average. Mass transit coverage, Brawley is adequate. Percent of population with higher education, we are improving but losing our educated citizens because of inadequate available jobs. Public park space, Brawley is adequate. Total tax rate, we're in the norm. Traffic congestion, no problem. And last, working age population. Brawley scores high in the ratio of its population aged 15 to 64 to the total population. If I have an opportunity to speak with you in the future, ways of implementing improvements could be discussed if you approve. Thank you for your time.
Ms. McMillan, thank you very much. Are there any questions from council? Thank you again very much. We can have Ms. Helen Noriega come up, please.
Good evening, Mayor George Nava, and council members, and ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to express why I have the desire to be on your city council, on our city council. I was born and raised in our city of Brawley. My husband and I raised 4 children, and now we have 12 grandchildren, his, hers, and mine. He always reminded me to shop, gas up, and do all my business here in Brawley. That was one of his biggest pet peeves. So I have done that, and I have taught my children. I feel the need to make this city one of the best in Southern California, where people will want to visit, start a business, and a family. I want to represent the city of Brawley as your city council woman. I will give the board a different perspective as I bring with me over 11 years of experience. I was elected by the people for 3 consecutive terms. I'm a person who has a lot to give and voice my opinion as a representative for all stakeholders. I'm given a task, and I will give you 100% working effort. I study the information I'm given and give you what is the best for the majority. In the 11 years of being elected, I have learned the protocols and ways of a board member. And I believe that as a board member, it goes along, and the job description is pretty much what a city council person does. I know it takes more than a day to make a decision. I know it takes the majority to do changes. I know working with budget is not an easy task, and I understand the importance of job security. I have established a strong partnership for the youth of Brawley, asking stakeholders for the opportunity of getting their support. I already have a working experience with the city on MOUs, specifically the terms of agreement with Brawley Union High School and the city of Brawley on the use of high school cafeteria, the auditorium, football field, weight rooms, city parks, baseball fields, and the swimming pool. I had the pleasure of working with Karen Morgan on some of these issues. I am familiar with working also one day with Rosanna Bayon-Moore and Mr. George Nava, Mayor, on getting the graffiti off the walls of the old Brawley Inn. And this was during the cattle call festivities, or before. Working with budgets is not an easy task, and I know the economy is not doing well. I feel job security is important and will be able to adjust to the ways of City Council because of my past experience. I will not have to be educated. I have been involved and served on several organizations, beginning with Imperial County School Board of Association, the California School Board. I have been the auditor and member of the Women's Club of Raleigh, the Lions Club, American Citizen Club, Hidalgo Society, PTA, Band Boosters, concession manager of the Athletic Boosters, and member of the American National Association and the Association of Latino Elected Officials. The Chamber of Commerce, the Cattle Call Parade, members of Pioneers Women's Auxiliary, a life member of Pioneers Museum. I coach t-ball, volleyball, softball, all within the city of Brawley. I belong to the Alternate Rosary Society and Bereavement Committee for Sacred Heart, and other numerous clubs and organizations. And I bring this up to you because it shows you that I am from Brawley. I help the community, I donate my time, and I'm willing to donate my time here to the City Council. I was also honored to be chosen Woman of the Year for the Family Solutions Center. And last year, I was nominated by Mexican American National Association to be one of their Las Primeras. I believe it's important to be involved in our community's organizations because it allows me to learn the different aspects of various groups. We all need to participate and work towards helping others and contributing to well-being of our city. I also have the advantage of being able to communicate in both English and Spanish. I'm the best candidate for Brawley City Council because I have the experience of representing the people of Brawley who elected me for 3 consecutive terms. They believe in me and in my work ethics. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Ms. Noriega. Are there any questions for Ms. Noriega? I have one question with respect to, it's something similar to Jay Goyle. You're serving on the school board. If you were appointed to the position of city council member, what would be the protocol? Would you leave the position at the high school?
Yes, I thought about that question being asked. And then I thought about Mr. Kim in Calexico. But I am willing to step down on one of my elected officials. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next applicant for City Council, Mr. Lee Corsalino, if you could please come up.
Mr. Mayor, council members, and public, thank you. First of all, I'd like to tell you why, how come I moved here. And I was working in northern Arizona where I met my wife, who was teaching in Kayenta, Arizona, and she was raised here, and I met her, and I came down here Christmas to meet her mom and her sister and all the family, and it was like 75 degrees, and I said, my God, I'm living here the rest of my life. So, and it's been a joy here, and I've never thought about moving ever again. I love it here. Anyway, first of all, I'd like to say that I spent 33 years in a coal mining business. Last 20 of it was in northern Arizona, where I was in upper management, doing budgets, buying equipment, leasing equipment, taking care of 386 men along with 33 foremen. And as I moved on, I moved here. I didn't have a job, but my wife said I needed one. So I went to work for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, where I was not in management anymore, but on the other side, my God, I can see why they hate management sometimes. And then right now I'm working for the school district as a security guy in the daytime to keep the kids from killing the teachers. And it's a great job. The kids are a lot of fun, and kids are kids. But most of all, I put my application in for this job because of my working with the public. I love to work with the public. I've done so all my life. I was manager of a medical clinic in Kayenta. I became the president of it, doctors and nurses, and it was a great thing. And I like working with the public. I like doing things like I was part of the monument here, which I think is one of the best in the world. And I'll stand by that till my death. And I want to, most of all, I want to make the police, the fire, and the public works solvent. I think they need what they need, and they should get it. I don't think we should always, more for less is not the best way to go. And I think everybody needs help. I'm for the city, the people in the city, east side, west side, north side. I think they all need representation, and I have not a problem representing anyone. Of course, I haven't quite a resume like Helen does, but I'll stand in there, though. Anyway, gentlemen, I appreciate it. If you thought about me, I would like to do more for the community, and I'm very opinionated, and I'm sorry about that, but that's the way it is. And Merry Christmas to all of you, and thank you very much.
Merry Christmas. Mr. Corsolino, thank you very much. Are there any questions from council? Again, thank you very much. Mr. Jeremy Rodriguez.
Good evening. My name is Jeremy Rodriguez. I live at 1076 Ronald Street. Well, I would like to be your next city councilor. I feel that this is a great city and that I have lived in Brawley for most of my life. I was not born here, but I have lived here for a majority of it. And while in my time here, I have seen the good and the bad that we can accomplish, that has been happening. Okay. I work for an outreach program called CalSOAP. CalSOAP stands for the California Student Opportunity and Access Program. And essentially what I do is that I help our youth, our high schoolers, from 9th to 12th grade. I help them through the college-going process, whether when they're freshmen coming to me with questions about their future, unsure. I help research colleges for them. We do the whole shebang, the whole workshops, everything, to help make sure they get into the college of their dreams. So that's what I like to do. I like to give and help people. Okay. Growing up, I was the oldest of 4 kids. I'm a first-generation college graduate, and I am currently a grad student. I go to San Diego State University. I am 2 semesters away from my master's in public administration. I do have a psychology bachelor's that I did earn here locally too, at our San Diego State. And I am the type of person who is unafraid to take chances. I am here in front of you speaking as a younger person, someone who's not as accomplished as maybe some other people, but I do see Brawley as a great potential to become a better city. I see that there was a lot of people here willing to take a chance to make this city a better for everybody if we listen. A statistic that I found interesting is one that I pulled from the Imperial County census statistics, and they reported that data collected from 2005 through 2009 showed that 11.9% of our population did not have a BA or higher. This coincides with our already famous unemployment rate being at 28% in 2009. But when I hear things like this, at first I do get discouraged and afraid for our city. But you know what? It motivates me. It motivates me to try harder, to get up there and really put myself out there. I understand that we do have a large Spanish-speaking population here in the Valley, and I feel that the best way, coming from my background and experience, is to make sure they are educated. We need funding for the schools in bilingual education. We need to increase awareness for these students so they do not get left behind. We need to be advocates for everybody, everyone who needs help. We need to make sure we can be there and really help them with whatever that they need. I know that our city has seen some hard times. We've had several fires and earthquakes in the past, and that it has caused physical and emotional damages on our city, and people look to their local government for guidance. I feel that as a city council member and someone who, as a younger generation, I could be their voice in this city. I want to bring to light those important issues that affect us in Brawley and the Imperial Valley as a whole. I believe that if you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem, and I intend to be part of the solution. If elected city council, I would do my best to be an advocate and a voice for everybody who needs one. And moving forward, I believe if we all work together, that together we can build a better Brawley.
Mr. Rodriguez, thank you very much. Are there any questions from Mr. Rodriguez?
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez.
Again, thank you very much. I believe our last applicant here is Mr. Donald Wharton. Again, if you could please state your name for the record.
Donald Wharton, Brawley resident, 1134 La Valencia Court. Unlike Arnie, I was never first, I was last in my class. So. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Councilman, City staff. I stand before you tonight get a chance and an opportunity to share with you just a little bit about my history, and as important, what qualifies me for consideration for City Council. And as I'm saying that, I do want to say I'm pretty humbled by not just the applicants, but the candidates that are here before you tonight, because I think it's part and parcel of what makes our city great. Having said that, just personally, I am married to Susie Hausman. I've been married for Susie Hausman Wharton. Actually, yeah, that's when I first moved here. That's what I was known as, actually, a Hausman. But for those of you that know, as Brawleyites. But for over 20 years, I've had a wonderful wife, and we've raised 2 children here in Brawley. Donald and Hunter, we're needless to say very proud of our children. Both of them attend Brawley area schools. Our older child, Donald, is currently attending United States Air Force Academy in his 2nd year, plays football there. And then our younger one is a senior right now at BUHS. Honor student as well, played varsity football as a captain for our team this year. Go Wildcats. Moving on from there, my personal history. I have earned a master's degree in organizational management with a specialization in healthcare administration, also a Master of Business Administration with Ashford University. Along with that, an executive certification in negotiations from the University of Notre Dame. At the age of 17, I actually enlisted in the Air Force Reserve, served 4 years at March Air Force Base. And from that service, I went into the aviation industry, of which I've been a part of for almost 27 years now. 10,000 hours of flying is close to what I've come up to, flying both airplanes and helicopters. 14 of those years I spent specifically in the crop dusting business here in Imperial County. Of those 14 years, about 1998, I started into my own business here in Brawley. In 1998, my partner and I started AgFlight Incorporated with actually 1 rented, or I should say leased helicopter and 4 employees. Over the next few years, my partner and I were able to grow that business to over 30 employees and actually multiple aircraft, and we serviced farmers and ranchers all throughout the valley. Outside of that, I've also spent the last 15 years as a volunteer with the Imperial County Sheriff's Department. And specifically, I've been a reserve deputy with the Sheriff's Department and was appointed to the position of commander approximately 10 years ago. So needless to say, public safety has been a big part of my work here in Imperial County. Also, along with that, I'm really proud of the fact that we've been able to start one of the first law enforcement, airborne law enforcement programs here in Imperial County since the late 70s. So I've been an instrumental part of establishing that program that has served as a fantastic tool that could be utilized by our local law enforcement agencies. One of the keys to that is primarily provided at virtually no taxpayer expense. Outside of that, right now, I work for a company called Reach Air Medical Services. What Reach does is we engage in the air ambulance business. We operate helicopters as well as airplanes throughout the western United States. And I'm very proud of the fact that I was able to help establish that service here in Imperial County. That business started approximately 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago here in Imperial County, and has since have been a shining example of a partnership between Pioneers Memorial Hospital as well as El Centro Regional. Also, we work very closely with our county EMS agency. Since then, the company, I've been an instrumental part of our growth throughout Southern California, and we've established bases in the Palm Springs area as well as the Los Angeles area. One of the keys I like to highlight there, though, is being a part of putting together partners. And so that's been a key part of what we've been able to do with Reach. Why do I want to become a councilman? Really simple for me. It's the whole notion of public service. It is service. I understand that we're representing not only the interests of the entire city, but really as a city, we're an integral part of this region and of the county of Imperial. So I believe it's really important to understand that, and I think any of us standing here before you tonight have to be kind of cut from that selfless fabric. I commend our current council, both past and present, for the work they've done to make our city better. It is my hope that tonight I humbly can make a case for you that I can not only join that council and be part of that growth, but beyond that, as a matter of pride, and being a part of this city and a citizen of the city,
Warden, thank you
move
for your
forward,
comments.
we can be able to do that. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wharton.
Any questions for Mr. Wharton? Sorry to cut you off. It just was, your time was up, but thank you. We're going to move forward on the agenda. Is there any questions from council at this time? No?
Mayor Nava?
Yes.
I'd like to reflect for the record, there's the letters of recommendation for Arnie Eaton. There's 2 here and one for Mr. Wharton.
Okay. Do we each have a copy here?
Yes.
There are enough for each.
I'll read them.
There's some other copies if members of the public would like to have them.
I'm going to read these for the record so you can all hear. Okay. And then I'm going to open up to public comments. You have a candidate that you'd like to support or one that you wouldn't like to support, please feel free. But I will begin. Let's see, it's double-sided here, right?
Yes.
Okay. It says it's dated November 30th, 2012, to Brawley City Council. Subject: letter of recommendation for Arnie Eaton as the mayor for the city of Westmoreland. I had the privilege of working with Arnie Eaton during my tenure as the chief of police for the city of Brawley, and again now as Arnie performs services for the city as a contracted building inspector. It is with great pleasure that I recommend Arnie as a candidate for the vacant seat on the Brawley City Council. Please call me, etc. Respectfully, Henry Graham, Mayor, City of Westmoreland. Flip side of this is addressed to the Brawley City Council, dated November 30th, 2012. Dear council members, Arnie Eaton has indicated a desire to fill the vacancy on your council. I've known Mr. Eaton both professionally and socially for a number of years, and this letter is sent in support of his candidacy. On a professional level, my wife and I entrusted him with the remodel of our home in El Centro. During construction, I was impressed with his ability to communicate and follow through on all required tasks in a timely fashion. When a specific project went over time or budget, Arnie was upfront and clear about the obstacles. On a personal level, he's been a close family friend for many years. Accordingly, I fully support his candidacy and feel he would make an excellent addition to the governing board for the city of Brawley. I can be contacted, etc. Sincerely, James Harmon, Superior Court Judge, retired. So those are 2 letters there. And here is a 3rd letter. It's addressed to the council members, City of Brawley, regarding City Council appointed seat. Dear council members, my name is Darren Smith. I live at 879 Arroyo Court in Brawley. I was born and raised in Brawley. I am a partner with Smith Candle Insurance and Real Estate and 4th generation to be in this position. I am currently the 2nd Vice President of the Brawley Chamber of Commerce, as well as a member of the Planning Commission for the City of Brawley. I am writing this letter to you in support of Donald Wharton, who is an applicant for the open seat on the City Council. I have known Don for approximately 15 years. I have seen his abilities in both the business sector and the public service sector. His skills and talents as a small business owner are excellent. He is a forward planner and understands regulation. His experience in the aviation industry has equipped him to understand how to efficiently operate a major organization such as the City of Brawley, as well as improve our current airport and other facilities. His dedication to the public is evident in his participation in various different charitable organizations. His concerns for his community speak volumes and should weigh heavily on your decision when choosing a candidate for this position. As a member and business owner of this community, I urge you to select Donald Wharton for the open City Council seat. Thank you. Signed, Darren Smith. Are those the letters? Those are them, right? And we didn't mention it earlier, but if our record could reflect that Councilmember Campbell is joining us, I think that was obvious earlier, but just for the record. And now we will open it up to public comment. So that's the time now. Normally for public comment, it's 4 minutes. But let's just keep it brief. There really isn't a time limit, but if you can just respect everyone's time, I'm sure there's several people here who would like to make a comment. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking that there probably is. So if there's anyone who would like to make a public comment at this time, now is the time to do so. Not everyone at once, please. Not. Right. And if you could please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Jay Kruger. I'm a resident of Brawley, 605 South Rio Vista, I think is where I live. Boy, any reason to get in front of the camera, huh? First of all, I would like to thank the members of the council, with the exception of Councilman Campbell, for the expeditious way in which they performed this evening and put this at the forefront of the operations of the council. I appreciate that. The other thing is, many of my neighbors and friends are on this list, and how proud I am of them that they stepped forward. It's very, very difficult to do that, I know. And also, you gentlemen have a very, very difficult job. This might be the hardest game you've played. So I'm sure you'll do what's the best, as they say, for all concerned, and above the few for the many and all that. Thank you.
Mr. Kruger, thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you, Mr. Kruger.
Is there anyone else who would like to make a public comment?
I love you too.
Is there anyone else? Now's your opportunity. If you are in support of a candidate, please don't let the opportunity pass you by. If there's something that you would like to share with this council, now's the time to do it. Otherwise, we will close that period. So you're just anxious to get a decision. Okay. Well, again, I just want to thank all the candidates, all the applicants for putting in their application. And as Mr. Kruger pointed out, it does. It certainly takes you need to be brave in order to do it, and especially coming up here and speaking before the public and expressing yourself. And obviously, your application becomes a public document, and everybody can read it and maybe criticize it or whatever it is, right? And so it does take a lot of courage to be able to do that, and I applaud you all for coming out here in support of your community. And it is a difficult decision for all of us. It's a difficult decision because there is many people that I know personally, professionally here, and very strong candidates in many respects. And so everybody comes with a slightly different background, and that background could really benefit the city council, regardless of who we chose. But ultimately, we're going to choose one person. So, again, I just want to thank everybody for their participation. And, again, we can't select everyone. If we could, I think that would be a fantastic council that we would build. But there is only one person we'll choose to fill, former council member Kelly C. Having said that, I'll pass it along to my colleagues here for their comments, and then I'll call for a motion if there's a nomination. So is there comments from the rest of council? Mr. Mayor Pro Tem Couchman has a comment.
I noticed that the Honorable Jay Kruger said it was difficult for you guys to come put your name forth for a seat on this council, but I don't think you have any idea how difficult it is for us personally to make these decisions, knowing almost everyone that has applied. I think it's a very, very difficult decision for us. That's one reason why I like elections, because you go in the little voting booth and you cast your vote, and really no one knows where that vote, what that vote is, and that's the beauty of the American system. In this situation, we're faced with an appointment. It's not the ideal. It's something that we have to do, though, and it's a decision that we have to make. I know almost everyone on this list. It's a very difficult decision for me, and everybody brings a different strength to the mix. They bring it to our council, and we have to make a decision as to who we feel that we can work with the best on the council for the 2.5 years or the length of this appointment. Certainly, all of you that have applied, I would encourage you to continue continue to work with the city, continue to volunteer, to serve the people of the city. There are many, many positions that we request volunteers from that we get very few people for. And so I encourage everyone to continue that activity. And I would encourage everybody to not be discouraged. I think you should be proud that you've come forward to put your name in the hat for this council position. But remember, council positions become available at many different times, and other positions within the city, and city commissions and other things that we need volunteers for. So we appreciate your efforts tonight. We want you to all continue those and not be discouraged by anything, because we're going to pick one, and everybody else will say, well, they didn't pick me. But rest assured that if you approach us about other things, we may be able to put you in some other position where you can gain experience, and eventually you may work your way into the Brawley City Council, and you can be proud of that, and you can work for that as a goal. I think it's important that we all continue that effort, and that's all I have to say.
Feel free to run against Mr. Couchman anytime.
You're perfectly welcome to do that.
I'm kidding, but no. No, I'm kidding about that, but it does, it's certainly, it's a democracy, and that's the beauty of it, so. All right, again, thank you, and I will entertain a nomination from the council. Is there any nominations?
I'll go ahead. I was always learned to be the first one, and I have a lot of friends here. But I'm gonna set that aside, and person that I am selecting based not only on the application but on their involvement in our community and how they're gonna how this person is gonna help Brawley to continue to be part of this dynamic team that we are. Make a motion for Donald Wharton to be appointed for councilman.
All right, there's one nomination for Donald Wharton. Are there any other nominations at this time? Seeing no nominations, there's a nomination for Donald Wharton. Is there a second on that motion? There's a second on that. Any further discussion? And I'll call for the vote. The nomination is for Donald Wharton. It's been motioned by Councilmember Miranda, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Couchman. Opened it up for discussion. No discussion from council. And I'll call for the vote now. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Wharton. And again, I want to thank everyone for making your presence known, and it was a difficult decision. You all have something to be very proud of. I believe our next meeting's tomorrow. We can do the swearing in on the 18th. That would be Tuesday the 18th, right? So we can swear you in, Mr. Wharton, on the 18th. So be prepared. That would be your first council meeting. We have a special meeting on the 19th. So, and that's the reorganization's on the 19th. So again, thank you all. Mr. Wharton, is there anything that you would like to say publicly?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I am deeply, deeply humbled. And again, I know this process was very difficult, and it's actually very difficult for me to stand here in light of, again, the wonderful candidates that stepped up. I have a true appreciation for not only those folks, but it really comes down to the city we live in. Very proud of this. I take this very seriously, and I will work very hard to help our city move forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We look forward to working with you as well. Are there any final comments from council? Again, thank you all very much. We're going to adjourn to our next regular meeting for December 4th. That's tomorrow at 6 p.m. Again, thank you for coming out.